All right, so it's a new month,
A new day
so that means it's time for a new CH3 podcast.
with only two of us.
Yeah, we have yet to have all three of us on an official podcast. The first one we did got messed up, but it's May now. April's gone, and boy, the video game world has not wasted time providing us stuff to talk about.
Mm-mm.
So let's start off with the Hedgehog in the room. The Sonic movie trailer has dropped. The Sonic movie trailer.
Man, no one made that. That's no good.
It's no good. And there's a lot of feelings going on around about it. There's a lot of news and reactions when people worked on it. What's your reaction, real quick, Taylor? How are you feeling about the Sonic movie trailer?
When I first seen it, I mean, even back to the pre-release of the photos and things like that, I kind of had an idea of what they were going for.
It turned out to be pretty accurate to what he was going to look like.
Mm-hmm. I mean, it's not bad. It just doesn't look like Sonic. But I mean, the way I looked at the trailer, it looked good. I mean, from a standpoint of it can be good, not great. It looks good. Like, you know what I mean?
The fact that it's a kids movie, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
That's like, is it PG or PG-13? Do we know that yet?
I don't know.
I mean, there's a lot of Sonic ass shots, so I'm guessing PG-13. But I've seen fan renders of a more accurate looking Sonic, and it makes the movie that much better. You know what I mean? Like, it really is just his design that's the main thing.
Yeah.
I mean, here's the thing: is Jim Carrey playing Eggman? No, he's playing Jim Carrey, but I'm there for that.
He's playing Jim Carrey, impersonating playing Eggman.
Right, I'm there for that. That little classic Jim Carrey thing he's doing. I don't know if Neil McDonough was to be in it.
Mm-hmm.
That dude just finds himself in movies.
Yeah.
I
I looked at it. I was like, is that okay? What's
his name in
Arrow?
Arrow? Yeah, what's his name?
Damien Dark.
Yeah.
I didn't expect to see him here, but
Is that Dum Dum Dugan?
Oh, Agent Carter, huh?
Yeah. I'll pull from the culture choices, but yeah, I mean, Andre Black Nerd, he made a good point. Like, why does every movie have to have the government in it?
Yeah.
Can we just have one movie without it? So there's that. James Marsden, he looks like he's having fun.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't you and I talk about that? Wasn't it supposed to be Paul Rudd originally?
Was it?
There was like a report that saying Paul Rudd was going to play that character, which makes that movie better for me too. I'm not expecting the lore to be right because I saw Sonic throwing the ring and I'm transporting him, which looked really bad. That didn't look good. You know what I mean? Like, it did not look like the Doctor Strange portal.
Yeah. Okay. There's one thing at the end. I mean, if you haven't seen this trailer, I'm pretty sure.
I mean, can you spoil the trailer?
Can you really? Are we
Can you spoil a spoiler?
Yeah, but there's the end where they ask, "Is that a child
in your bed?" Because Sonic is talking in James Marsden's bed,
and they both walk away. That's a red flag. They better change that in the movie.
Right. I don't know what joke they're going for because he's like, yeah, well, it's a child, but it's not my child, and they just let it happen.
There's one joke that I seen that supposedly supposed to be in the in the movie. This is a spoiler, so I'll give you this alert now. If you want to,
it's a Sonic movie. I don't think we're really.
Yeah. So apparently, there's a joke where Eggman says, "I've been spitting out formula since you've been spitting out formula." James Marsden's character replied, "I'm a breastfed." Eggman then replied, "Nice."
Oh no! You see, that's what I'm more worried about. Like, I do not like the design, but I am very worried that they're going for like the Transformers 2007 era jokes.
No.
Where I was just like, oh no. But the real,
I mean, it was a bar.
It was a bar. The real story going on, besides the fact that this is a kids game with breastfeeding jokes. Anyway, there was such an uproar on the internet community that the director has come out and said that we formally apologize and we will be, in a much longer statement than this. We're going to change the design of Sonic.
I mean, they could keep the head. There's nothing wrong with. I mean, there is things wrong with the head, but it's the body proportion.
The body proportion. It's how long his arms are. Really, the fact that he doesn't have gloves bothers me. For me, just his eyes need to be a little bigger.
Yeah.
I don't like that going for. We're doing an actual headshot. But that screams to me as Alvin and the Chipmunks, which did not work. But, it raises some legitimate concerns of, in the area we live in, we are very cognizant of crunch. and we're worried that these animators are going to be overworked to get this movie to still come up. What is it supposed to come out in 6 months?
November, right?
Even less. So. Yeah, and they have not talked about pushing it back. Like if they're like, we're pushing it back to 2020 to make sure you look good. That's one thing. But they're probably gonna crunch them, and they're probably not gonna raise their pay. So people are now also coming up with an outcry like, hey, make sure these guys get paid what they need to be paid, since they're gonna be working even harder for your mistake, for doing the design that you guys wanted in the first place. So that'll be the thing to monitor on that movie.
We'll probably see something. At least the new design come around, maybe Comic-Con, E3.
It would make sense, right? Yeah. Has E3 ever had a movie trailer drop before? I guess they kind of did when they did the Final Fantasy 15 movie, right? They had some pop up for that. No, that was their own little Final Fantasy event they had going on.
Yeah, I think so.
Interesting. What? Yeah. Usually it's a couple months after the first trailer something else drops. But, there's a Sonic movie. Probably won't be as good as Detective Pikachu. Some early impressions have come out of that, and people are really liking that. So we'll see. But we'll have to wait and see which one will be better. Although, it's Nintendo versus Satan. We know how that usually goes. But moving away from movies about video games, we're going to talk about actual video games and receptions. Because Days Gone has released. It's been out for, a week or two now? A couple weeks now?
When did that game come out?
Late April, I want to say. I feel it was like a 20-something.
Yeah, it's right around Avengers, right?
Yeah, it was
that Friday.
It was like that week. So that would have been 27th, 26th.
Yeah,
we saw it on the 27th, so it would have been the 26th when it came out.
Yeah.
It might come out around that time. It has come out. It's sold well, right?
Yeah,
because I remember it had a pretty good pre-sale thing going for it.
Yeah.
So it's a success for Sony. You and I talked about this in our spare time. My sources are higher up on it than your sources are, correct? For the most part.
From what I've been seeing, like reviewers and people from like social media they've liked it much more than like the classic reviewer.
Than like Metacritic.
Yeah, I mean like Metacritic
or like Kotaku or whatever.
Like, last time I looked at Metacritic, the aggravated score was like 72.
Yeah, I saw at one point. At one point, it was at like a 6.9. I think I saw. But yeah, from what I've heard, it's a little buggy. The beginning is slow and a little formulaic. Yeah, but apparently the story is very strong. Is what I heard, and the characters are very strong. And you get to ride on a motorcycle, and the mechanics behind that are good. So it sounds like a fun game.
Yeah, they said what, like the first 10 hours are a drag.
Yes, which is a lot when you think about it, but for an open world game, it's really not that much.
And then like the rest of the 30 are good or great. But I think from a precedent that Sony's have done for the first party is what bringing it down.
Right.
Because like they were knocking out the park for the last fucking year.
Yes.
The last year they've been killing.
Well, in the last year they had Spider-Man and God of War, which were both Game of the Year candidates.
Yeah.
So of like the four or five Game of the Year candidates, like one was like cross-platform, so that was like Red Dead, and then there was whatever Nintendo game was popping. I don't remember at the time.
Yeah, I know.
Top of my head. I know there's one in there, probably like Celeste. So
yeah,
which is also cross-platform. So basically, the only games that I think, I might be wrong, the only games I think that weren't cross-platform that were Game of the Year contenders were from Sony. But on your point, I remember that a lot of people, when Days Gone came out, the first trailer was hype, then the second trailer was like, well, this looks like The Last of Us meets Red Dead Redemption meets like Horizon Zero Dawn. So people were worried about it being, watered down because it is a AAA game, even though it's from Studio Bend, who at that point they're only known for doing the Vita game for Uncharted, which is people liked. So it's impressive. It's not quite the levels of Shadowfall people going to Horizon Studio Guerrilla, but it seems like people liked it.
Yeah, that's another thing. They're batting up against, because if you also look at Guerrilla Games, they put out the Killzone game, then they put out Horizon Zero Dawn, which cracked it out the park.
They already had 4 games under their belt, AAA style.
Which is like Horizon is my top PS4 exclusive,
You really like that. I still need.
Mm-hmm.
Also, that's something I got you for Christmas.
Yep.
So I feel proud about that. I need to go back to it. I just went back to God of War, so I'm slowly going back to the games.
I still gotta get that. Yeah.
In the time I'm waiting for Persona 5 to come back out.
Yeah, but Studio Bend, they pushed the PS4 to its graphical. I won't say limits, but they pushed it
The
to,
standard PS4.
Mm-hmm. And they've done a really good job. Now they just have to work out the bugs, which can be patched out.
Right.
I mean,
I would love if games didn't have to have like a day one patch and week 3 patches in this day and age, but it's a part of how it is now.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of games go through that. I mean, hell, No Man's Sky is a success now.
Mm-hmm. Sea of Thieves is a success now because and that game started out bare bones.
Really? Do people like it though?
Yeah. People have liked it and gravitated much more to it, and they're coming over to it now since it's got a new story mode. It's getting more updates.
Basically, when they put more stuff that Rare is known for.
Yeah.
So the Rare fans have a reason to stick around.
Mm-hmm.
So kind of like we're kind of veering off topic, but we got like 40 minutes to talk about stuff. So whatever. Fire Emblem Heroes. That game's been out since what, 2014?
Yeah, 14, 15, right?
15. I got it now, which is kind of like the best version of it.
Mm-hmm.
But I remember when it first came out, it wasn't that way. They didn't have a lot to offer, and they had a lot of grind and microtransactions.
Yep.
But now it's one of my favorite games. I play it more than I play a lot of other games, dude. Like I'm always on it. But that's really the only game to have like a live service that actually got me. Because like I'm like Mortal Kombat kind of has that for me right now. Like I'm kind of doing the grind right now to do all the costumes and whatnot and fatalities. It helps that they gave me like a bunch of free shit because of how hard the towers are that they just gave to everybody because they knew they messed up. But like other games like Overwatch and Destiny and stuff like that, Battlefront never really held me long enough to really care about the live service aspect of it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, like I was recently playing Aliens Isolation, and that game got a whole bunch of like add-ons that afterwards, which are
I forgot it had that.
which were nice. And I mean, like from since I played it in and out. I played it from when it first came out, and then I recently went back to it. So after the patches, after all that, and it still holds up. It's still a really nice game.
Kind of like what they do with Prey when they released all that free shit like a year after it came out.
Yeah. Which
is another game I want to play, which you might put on the channel. Another game that actually really improved from patches and nobody talked about, Mass Effect Andromeda. It's still a deeply flawed game and kind of boring in places, but it runs completely fine now, and the facial animations are completely fine now.
I mean, that's also because it's made by the BioWare B team, and also because people feel let down by EA, especially from the third game and EA in general.
Right, they didn't have a lot of goodwill going on.
EA, I'm still waiting for NBA Street.
That was them. Me and Dante talked about on the podcast. I explained to him the Kotaku Anthem expose. I assume you're more caught up on it than he was, at least. Like, you know a little more about the situation.
Yeah.
Apparently they just lost one of their lead producers. So I really want that game to do well, but I don't know, man. The BioWare magic has to run out because crunch and whatnot.
Yeah.
But that'll be an interesting thing to keep an eye on because everyone thought Destiny was dead. And then it was like, we don't have to work at Activision anymore.
Yay, we're free.
We're free.
The evil has finally been defeated.
For now. Speaking of evil.
Yeah, what does Activision? Like, what
do they have left?
Yeah, besides Call of Duty, what
Crash.
else do they put out?
Crash and Spyro. But after that, I'm really not sure at this point.
Because they lost so many. They lost the Marvel licenses.
They did lose it, didn't they?
They lost the Transformers.
I just realized, Nintendo. I forgot that Activision was the one that put out Ultimate Alliance, and now UA3 is going to be on Switch.
Yeah.
Interesting. Yeah, Activision. They don't even have. Skylanders still on. It's still a thing, right? Is it?
Didn't they cancel that?
I thought they did. Oh, it came back as a mobile game. So yeah, they're really just living off Spyro and Crash and Call of Duty at this point. Which, to be fair, Call of Duty train is still rolling great for them. Like they really responded well after Infinite Warfare. which is still a good game.
I mean, I guess they also get the revenue from Blizzard too, since they're
Yeah, Blizzard is their main thing, which is going through its own turmoil right now.
Damn, I haven't played Overwatch in a minute.
I haven't played with you and Mike in a minute. I kind of miss it. But yeah, it's Activision, man. Speaking of Marvel, I thought I told you, Mortal Kombat 11's been out for a few weeks now.
Mm-hmm.
I've beaten the story mode. I told you that it felt like a Bruce Timm story to me, which made me kind of happy because it's like, because then I remembered that Warner Brothers owns Mortal Kombat, so NetherRealm basically has the rights to DC, and Capcom has the rights to Marvel, which is very fitting to me because I think they are the Marvel and the DC of the fighting game genre on their own without having those properties.
Yep.
So it's kind of fitting. We are overdue for a Marvel fighter too. Since it's been how many years since it's been 3 years since Infinite came out?
I thought it was 2. No,
was it 2016 or was it? It might have been 2017. It might be 2 years, which is another game that's fun and well made. It's just this
flawed. It doesn't have a whole bunch of characters.
Yeah, it does. It doesn't have a lot to bring you back to it.
Especially coming off Marvel vs. Capcom
3, which is like kind of like still the gold standard, as opposed to like 2, which is the classic. But we're gonna move away from fighting games and go back to shooty games because just recently, I want to say like a night or two ago, they had the Borderlands 3 gameplay reveal. They revealed a lot. They finally revealed who's playing a lot of characters, and as we touched on this podcast, Troy Baker is out as Reese, and now Ray Chase is in. Ray Chase is the voice of Noctis from Final Fantasy 15, Roy from Fire Emblem, a bunch of other things. He had a supporting role in Your Name. He's been all over the place. He had a very gracious post when he talked about how he was a fan of Troy's take in Tales from the Borderlands. While he's not a one-to-one voice match to him, he's doing his best to uphold the character and what was the precedent that was set. I don't know if he's gotten a lot of harassment, but some people have been giving him shit online because, Troy. But I like how he handled it. My main issue with the whole problem isn't the fact that Troy got recasted, is the lack of communication on Gearbox's end, and the way that they basically lied and tried to make it look like they were the ones that got victimized by Troy and his quote unquote greed or whatever, because the man Randy Pitchford in his Twitter handle was very active, as I think you kept more track of what he was saying than I was. So there was that, and then of course Borderlands 3 and the microtransaction debate debacle potential is there, and you can look up Randy Pitchford's tweets. He's very volatile, I'd say, and he has a track record. A lot of people have receipts on him, I'll just say that. But Borderlands 3 is interesting to me because Borderlands as a series is very highly regarded. They're always up there for game of the year, right? Yeah. And this one probably is too, and it's probably going to be an amazing game, but it has a lot going around for it PR-wise leading into it. Yep. You know what I mean?
The Epic Store exclusive.
Yeah, to say the least. There's that. The way the voice actors are being treated, the public relations aspect of it. So I'm like, I don't know if it'll hurt it or not, but it's interesting to me because Mortal Kombat didn't have a lot of bad things going for it selling-wise. Yeah. It had some issues at launch with the server and then the grind. But
and then you have the vocal minority who think it's too SJW.
Oh, with the Jats ending?
With the Jats ending, with the female having too much
clothing.
They bring up UFC a lot, but UFC doesn't have weapons.
And they still don't look as skimpy as they did in Mortal Kombat 9.
Right.
You know what I mean? But I'll be interested to see how Borderlands 3 turns out, because I have zero doubt that it's going to be a good game. Because they've worked on it for a while. Yeah. Like Mortal Kombat 11 is a great game. And both of those games were in the woodworks for a long time before they were released. I gotta stop saying them. But we'll see how that turns out. I don't think the sales will be affected because the console aspect of it doesn't have a lot going around for it because there's the Epic deal, which is still in the gaming sphere, so you should be concerned about it, but it's also not really our stratosphere. But we'll see. I mean, it's more Borderlands, and it seems like they're trying to tie everything together. Since they got Reese from Tales from Borderlands. be interesting to see if Fiona's there because she disappeared with him at the end. Spoilers, so but we'll see. And then looking forward to game. Does that come out in June, July, August?
June. I want to say June 7th or June.
It's that close.
I think so.
Wow, then that's what's coming up next. Followed by Judgment.
I could be wrong.
Followed by Judgment, which comes out early June, and then
The Crash game.
Crash. Yeah, Michael will be mad if we didn't mention Crash coming out. Tag Team Racing, or no, just Crash.
Crash Nitro. No.
Nitro is the second one.
Yeah.
CTR. CTR is coming out.
A Crash Racing.
Crash Racing. Yeah. Persona Q2 on the 3DS, probably the last great 3DS game coming out will be that, and then Bloodstained also comes out end of June.
Yep.
I feel like there's another game I'm forgetting. A kind of big game that's coming out. But whatever. So that's what's coming down the pipeline.
Mm-hmm.
Is there anything else gaming news talked about? Well, Bloodstained had a trailer come out.
Mm-hmm.
They up-res the graphics a lot. Looks like a lot of fun. I actually have never played a Castlevania game.
For real?
So I'm actually really want to play this game. I didn't grow up with any Nintendo systems.
Wasn't Castlevania also a Sega?
Well, I didn't have Sega either.
Oh.
And it did come to PlayStation 1.
Mm-hmm.
But it wasn't a game I picked up by that time.
I played the old school Castlevania games. I didn't play the newer.
I didn't even
3D
play that
model,
one. Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't get into those. But the old school games I played. I played the later Bloodstained.
The companion mini game they pulled out. I remember you had that on Xbone, right?
Mm-hmm.
Wait, a game I haven't heard from in a minute is Code Vein.
Code Vein. Oh,
it was
by
Bandai. Yeah, the vampire anime Dark Souls game.
Yep.
It got pushed back. I thought it was supposed to be pushed back to July. I'll need to double check on that because I think it got delayed a couple times.
Yeah,
I was excited for that game.
Yeah, I had seen them talk about it, and then it went silent.
Radio silent.
Eventually, I thought it came out.
I think it was supposed to come out last spring originally, or not even spring. It was supposed to come out like December, and then it got pushed way back to the summer. And summer's coming up, and I haven't heard a lot from it.
I guess they'll reveal more at Easter.
Hopefully.
And when is that? June? Late June? Or
mid-June.
Okay, late June.
It's like
mid-June.
It's mid-June. It's like the week of the 12th.
Okay.
Or whatever.
Hopefully I'm not working, so I can
watch it.
Yeah.
Because I remember last year's E3 was a lot of fun, even though a bunch of big games like Fallout 76 turned out to be duds.
Or shit just got either delayed or was never talked about again.
Right. Oh, Battletoads. Still haven't heard anything about that.
I'm still waiting for Gears of War.
Yeah, apparently there's supposed to be a trailer dropping soon. It's supposed to be coming out soon, I think. Yeah, at the very least, E3 is always good for a hype trailer, whether or not it turns out. Oh, and then I remember what I'm forgetting. Fire Emblem, 3 Houses, June 28th.
Well, I haven't heard anything about it.
It was supposed to come out in spring. They've been releasing, after that bid direct trailer they released, they've just been releasing like news on Twitter and shit like that. Like character profiles and gameplay tweets. So we probably know what we're going to know until the game comes out, more or less. We'll do a launch trailer, of course. Like, a couple weeks beforehand. But hopefully that game will be one of the games that holds me until fucking 2020 when Persona 5 The Royal comes out.
When I don't hear from much, I automatically just think, the studio behind it. They either got reviews that they don't want out there, so things like that.
Well, that's what happened to Bloodstained.
Yeah.
The YouTube comments were not liking how it looked, so they went back to the drawing board and canceled the Vita version, I think, right?
They canceled. Because I was watching the PlayStation 1 yesterday. I was like, so where's the Vita?
Yeah. And I have a Vita now, so I would put it up. But it's going to be on the Switch like a week after PS4 and its spots and all that. And Steam, I'm guessing, yeah. But that is the gaming news. We're running through it a little quicker because we're going to be spending the rest of this podcast talking about a different kind of game. A Endgame, if you will. Because the Marvel journey that started when we were 11 years old has come not to a conclusion, but to a benchmark, if you will. The end of their first cycle. And we will be spoiling the shit out of this movie. So if you've not seen it, now's the time to go.
If you haven't seen it, it's been, 2-3 weeks?
It's been a week.
Really, a week?
I want to say we saw it last Saturday.
Oh, sure.
Yeah.
I'll give you a few more days.
The embargo lifts Monday for spoilers, but still, even then, even if this is like 29, even if this is 2020 and you haven't seen it yet, don't listen to the rest of this because we're just spoil it off the bat. So Endgame is here.
Yep.
What were your thoughts on it, Taylor? Before we just start talking about moments that happen.
Thoughts on it. I like. It's let's say. Okay, if we go back and say no. Okay, it's a really great movie. I don't say great to many movies.
He really doesn't.
And like if I review a movie, I'm giving you good.
It doesn't mean he doesn't like it. Because here's the thing: we saw the Power Rangers movie, and me and him had a great old time. We really liked it. We didn't call it great.
Yeah,
I rewatched it though; it holds up.
Yes, it does. Like when I review a movie, every movie starts off at a 10. You're at a 10 from the first second I see something.
Right, and then the rest is the movie's job to not get knocked off.
And it's your job.
Which is how you should. You should go down. You should go up and build down, as opposed to starting from the lowest low and try to build up.
Because that makes it much harder.
Right.
Once you start from the bottom,
you're more likely to be disappointed at the end.
Yes. So it's a great movie. It's a great story. They come out and try to make where like Joe and what's the other, Anthony?
Joe and Anthony, yes.
Yes. Okay.
The Russo brothers.
The Russo. So they came out and tried to say, like to give the scripters what happened and how it happened. Like you seen those, right?
Yes.
Okay.
The interviews they've been doing when they've been making the rounds. Basically, to give them the room to breathe, more or less.
Yes. And like it's still confusing to me because what happens in it.
Right.
Like I'm like, yeah. I'm like.
You just spoil it. We've already given the spoiler warning, so you can just talk about events.
Well,
we don't have to go in an order.
Oh, okay.
This is with the assumption that you've seen the movie.
Well, all right. I'm going all the way to the end. I think Cap should die.
Oh yeah, you talked about that. You want him to be capped, right?
I wanted it to be Cap. I wanted Cap.
Did you want him to go in the battle?
In the bat.
Did you want him to have Tony's moment?
I would rather him have Tony's moment because I think it ends his character arc.
Right.
And I think they could use Tony so much more than it.
Right.
I mean, ultimately Cap does go back in time.
Right. Like basically, you should have It does kind of suck to not have Downey around anymore because he could easily just be like a Nick Fury type to just show up every once in a while.
Downey could be our old man Bruce Wayne.
Yeah.
You could beat DC to this punch, kick them in their face, and tell them.
I mean, they kind of already are.
I mean, they already are. But we have your cake. We ate it. We got you another cake.
Everyone's thinking we're slowing down, but fuck that.
Right, yeah. You could have had old man Stark. You could have brought in. I guess they're going to bring in the kid from the third movie.
Yes, he was there. You mean so that kid is very important in the comics. So that is actually Kane the Conqueror, who came back and became Iron. Was it Iron Lad? Was that his name in the Young Avengers comic? Whatever, because they had the Young Iron Man, and the big plot twist was that I'm the young version of Kane the Conqueror. What the fuck? Who was a very big astral kind of Fantastic Four villain, if you don't know. Also Avengers. Yeah. He's like
he's the first Avengers villain, right? King the Conqueror.
He might have been. I don't remember. I always remember. I think you're right because I remember DC had Starro.
Yeah, they had the giant starfish.
Yeah, it was a weird time for both.
Alien dinosaurs.
It was a weird
on the comic.
It was the 40s. But yeah, Kane's on the level of like Annihilus and like Thanos and all that. He's a big guy. Annihilus is a villain I really want to see. Like he's dope and fantastic. Now that they have the foursome, I see where you're coming from. Just if more so just for the fact that you are losing Downey. But I do think that for the story they were telling, that was the perfect end for that character. Because I read some articles, so this isn't all my. This isn't 100% my idea. What I'm saying. But, it started off with him, of course. And, the post-credit scene that we didn't sit around for was... Yeah. They had the audio of him hitting the... Basically, Tony building the suit to signify this is the end of the first story. But you always make more. Yeah. So, Tony started... His big thing, like going back to First Avengers with Cap, was that he wasn't a soldier and he wasn't the guy to jump on the grenade, right? Like Cap was. Yep. And then his big issue that really drove him for every other appearance afterwards, when he has the Ultron vision, is when he has the vision of...
To make that sacrifice?
Well, yeah, because, he has a vision of Thanos when Scarlet Witch messes with him. It's not something she created, but it was just like some weird Infinity Stone thing. Mm-hmm. And the issue wasn't that his friends died, it was that his friends died and he survived. Mm-hmm. So he lived with that survivor's guilt, which is what brings him back into the game, even though he has Morden and Pepper, is the fact that the kid died, Peter Parker, and he brought him into this life. Mm-hmm. So in the end, he makes the sacrifice to create it. And, this all started with Tony saying, I am Iron Man, and it ends with him saying, I am Iron Man. Which is the perfect line, because here's the thing. Otherwise, for Cap, you'd have to do, I can do this all day again, but they already made fun of that in the beginning of the movie. Yeah. So for having Thanos say, I am inevitable, and having him go back to Snap, I think that's the perfect way to end it. I was really sad, don't get me wrong. I was like, oh man, no more Downey. And it was like, he has a kid, oh no. But I'm actually really glad that they had Cap do the old man thing. Mm-hmm. It opens up some cans of worms. Although the Russo said that him going back with Peggy created an alternate dimension. Yeah. He didn't steal her from her original husband, apparently. Mm-hmm. I don't know how he ends back.
Yeah, apparently he goes through the... But then that's the thing, because wouldn't he end up back at the portal?
That's what confuses me about it. Mm-hmm. But...
Unless he waited there.
The thing about Marvel is it feels like they, because it brings a nice little end. You needed to end Cap and Iron Man stories, and this movie does that. Because it's not going to be about them moving forward. It's going to be about Black Panther, Captain Marvel, and Spider-Man. Those are going to be their big 3 tentpoles. With because you can have Doctor Strange and Ant-Man and have sequels, and then make a new Avengers probably, which is probably going to make even more money than Endgame.
So I'm going to bring up a point here. I think they should cancel the Bucky and Falcon show, make it into a trilogy.
Ooh, that's what Dante wanted. He wanted a movie. Mm-hmm. Which is interesting, because the rumor for that show was that it was going to be those two looking for a new Cap. Mm. But he already passed it on to Sam.
Yep.
So we'll see. Yeah, but I'm there for watching Sebastian Stan and Anthony Mackie be basically super cops.
Yep.
You know what I mean? It hit me more emotionally having Cap be an old man than dying, if I'm being honest. Because it was because you expect him to die. We've been expecting him to die since Ultron. Ever since he saw his shield break. Yep. And then it was they're doing Civil War, he's definitely dying then, Mm-hmm. But, it's almost more, not heartbreaking, but it's oh man, he's old. But he gets to have, so like I said with Tony, his journey started with him saying, I am Iron Man. And ends with him saying, I am Iron Man. Cap's journey starts with him missing a dance. And it ends with him making that dance. So they really tied everything together. And I know you said you really liked that they finally tied Thor's arc together with... They made Thor the Dark World a very important Marvel movie. Retroactively.
Even though it ain't.
It's not. But now it's kind of essential viewing to watch everything. You know what I mean? Because I would usually skip that and Hulk. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean?
Hulk at least has some good points.
Hulk is actually a pretty good movie. Mm-hmm. It's just that you don't need to watch it to get the MCU. If you're watching the catalog, you don't need to watch it. If you need an extra 2 hours to yourself, you can use that time that you could have watched Hulk. Yeah. But yeah, they really brought together Thor's grief with losing his mom.
Because that was so random with me. Because
that she's dead.
No. The thing that is from 1 and 2. He's basically just crying. Well, 1, he's crying because he's lost his hammer.
I'm worthy!
And he doesn't feel worthy. 2, he gets the hammer back. Now he does think he's worthy. And then Malekith comes in and fucks shit up. And
right.
His mother died. They have a brief instant where he recollects on it.
But then it's back to being the Loki show.
Then it's back to being... and then from then on, it's his father died. It's planet.
Yeah, you see him in Ultron, and he's there's someone out there, I need the stones. Rather than not the big thing is his dad. His dad died and his people died, and you forget about his mom.
Yep.
And then when you see him with Rocket, you see his heart broken, and it's a funny scene. I'm oh man, I'm so sad for him. It's for poor chubby Thor. Which is a ballsy thing that they kept him that way. There are some people who are they're fat shaming him. Not really.
Yeah, no.
You know what I mean? If anything, Like, I know Kevin Smith was like, right on, they kept him fat. Because we were all convinced some lightning was going to hit him and he was going to be ripped again. You know what I mean? We all was like, he's going to get the hammer, he's going to be like, yeah, I have the power of Thor, and he's ripped. It'll make no sense, but like, oh, God power.
I could burn this fat off with a little bit of lightning.
Right.
Yeah, but it was great seeing that he had a heart. Like, he had compassion and
yes,
he could care. Because through Ragnarok 3, there was so much shit that happened that he should have been on his knees crying.
But it was a different tone. And apparently Hemsworth fought for a lot for him to not be...
To go back to the first two.
Yes, because Infinity War didn't really do that, but it kind of did. It towed the line. Because they were smart, they put him with the Guardians. So it allowed him to still be Ragnarok-ish, but he still has that anger about him, about Thanos and Loki and all that. So he is still kind of like the Avengers Thor. But in this one, they did it out of the way in the first 5 minutes because he kills Thanos. But then he's back to being Ragnarok Thor, where he's like the comic relief. Like you said, Big Lebowski. And apparently Hemsworth really pitched for that.
Yep, he fought for that. The first thing he said, he went to Joe and Anthony like, please don't take me back to the first two.
He did not have fun.
No.
You know what I mean? Like
he gets to be the character. He gets to be. This is, I'm going to compare this to 3 people in the comic book realm. This is his Christopher Reeve moment. This is his Hugh Jackman moment. This is his Robert Downey Jr.
Very
moment.
much so. Like, he's on par with that now. Because he was kind of the joke.
Yeah.
Like, he was actually pretty cool in Ultron, but he also had that one scene that people hated where he was, like, in the water and his shirt's off, and he's like, oh! And it really bogged the movie down. But Hemsworth doesn't get a lot of credit because he's pretty. You know what I mean? But he's one of the best actors out there, period. Like, there's nothing he really cannot do. You know what I mean?
Yeah. He
can be funny, believably funny. He can be believably a dork. Believably, like, a badass fighter. He can be believably serious. Along the lines, this movie finally gave Renner a lot to do as Hawkeye. Because you and I have both been a fan of his Hawkeye for a long time. Kind of in the minority of people.
Like I told you. Any other actor would have played that character.
He would have been killed off. He would have been killed off by now. Because it's like, we don't need Hawkeye.
Right. They would have played him straight face. Renner brings a gravitas.
I would even say if you put somebody like John Hamm as Hawkeye, I'd be less interested in him. Like, there's something very just inherently Renner about the way he brings it. Where it's like, even... Like, he was my favorite part about Ultron. Like, there are people who aren't fans of, like, going to the farm and seeing all that. But I really liked his bits. I liked the fact that he had more to do than just walk around Scowly in Avengers and then have him point an arrow in Thor. Right. Which is cool, because I was like, oh shit, they'd have the Hurt Locker dude to play Hawkeye? You know what I mean? Like, right after it got nominated for an Oscar. So I was like, oh man, this Marvel, they might be bid, you know? This is still 2011. This is the first Thor movie. But I like the bit he had with Scarlet Witch. He was like, if you walked out that door, you're an Avenger. I really like that line. And then in this, you know, he's doing Civil War. Yeah. This is what I wanted to talk to you about before I go back to the Ronin thing. They tied together so much little shit that really made me giddy. Because the first time Hawkeye meets Black Panther, he's like, hey, we haven't met. I'm Clint. I don't care. First thing Black Panther does when he comes back, Clint! Oh, they tied it together. He cares now. He's got that acknowledgement. I don't know if you noticed that when we first watched it.
No.
But I did. I just didn't want to say anything because there was so much going on in the final fight. I did not want to talk because I didn't want us to miss anything.
Good thing you brought this up. Okay, so we were in the theater.
Oh, me talking?
Ben was talking.
It was during the scene when Cap sees Petty. So it's kind of an emotional scene. And I was making the joke to Dante. I was like, she's so old. And then you go ahead.
And then this girl who was in the row in front of her, she turns around. Shh.
Not even that. She said, stop talking.
Yeah, she was like, stop talking.
It's then me and you looked at each other.
No, she didn't.
She was low-key louder than me saying that.
Right. Like you heard her more than you heard Ben. I was next to Ben. I'm like, he's not that loud. But I'm like, all right, you go.
I didn't need to be talking. I'm not that butthurt about that. I didn't need to be talking. It was a quiet scene. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. So next time you're in the movie, if you're ever in the movie theater and someone tells you to stop talking or to shush you, immediately respond with, ah!
Yeah. Do the CH3 old man. Like, ah! But going back to Hawkeye, to Clint, to Ronin. you made a comment that his little bit in Japan, we just want to see the Hawkeye movie now. He's already did a series, but it's like, yo, him killing a bunch of Yakuza, awesome.
Yep.
Like, really well directed, too. And it's like, you're right, I love the way he plays Hawkeye. Because they don't give him a lot. They really don't.
That's the thing. He doesn't get a lot, but he knows how to work with it.
Because, like fucking Hiroyuki Sawano, or whatever his name is. I can't remember. I might probably butcher it. But he's like that really good Japanese actor who was in the original Ring. He played Jackie Chan's brother in Rush Hour 3. He's the Yakuza boss. And he's like, I'll give you anything I want. And Hawkeye's like, what do you want? I don't got, what I want, you don't got. And he kills him. And then Black Widow finds him. Now, there is some contention. Because the internet has to be mad about everything. There's two. They don't feel like the girl power moment in the final battle is earned, and I have my feelings about that.
I don't hate the girl power thing. I hate their response.
Right, because here's the thing: they're telling a story, and I think now representation is one of the most important aspects of it.
No, wait.
But
okay, no. You finish now. I'll keep my.
But it's like that's a perfect moment to do it in the final fight.
Yep.
You know what I mean? I don't get why people are mad about that. They're like, it wasn't earned, because it's like, well, sidetrack. People are mad about Black Widow. How do you feel about that?
About Black Widow?
They're really mad that she went out the way she did.
I mean, I would have rather had it be Hawkeye, but then again, Hawkeye has family. Hawkeye has something to live for.
I didn't understand the rules at that point. Yeah. So I thought she was still going to be bad at the end of it.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Because I tapped you at a moment where...
But she's not bad.
I tapped you near the ending when Cap goes back. I'm like, are they going to do it?
I thought, that's, actually, there's actually a very big fan fiction community that's like, he went back to save her.
Yeah.
That's what people think.
Because if Red Skull clearly said...
He could have done that. He could have come back. He could have given her... He could have done that. You're right. He just went back, given the stone, and bring her back.
Right.
Wow. Way to be a dick, Cap.
What the hell does Cap say when he sees Red Skull? I thought you died with the Tesseract.
I thought you died in the plane.
Oh, shit. Okay, yeah, but before I forget this part. The only part I have a problem with is during that Spider-Man Captain Marvel moment when he's like, how are you going to get it there? She went through a whole damn ship. She flew. That stuff is coming through the Earth's atmosphere.
Boy! If you don't get your disrespectful...
He has to witness it because the ship goes down.
That's a tremendous point.
Like, she's flying faster than the speed of light. And she
I mean, to be fair, he's been alive for like 10 minutes at this point.
True.
And he's like 16.
But he's also one of the world's smartest 16.
And he has a spider sense.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so people, yeah. Back to the Black Widow thing. I have to see what they do with the movie first. But at the same point, it gave her a moment. Because otherwise, she's like, shooty, blah, blah, blah. At the end, she's like, I'll lead the Avengers without Cap and Iron Man, I guess. Yeah. That's the thing. I don't know who leads the Avengers now. Cap and Iron Man are both gone.
Yeah.
I mean, it could be...
There's the Bruce...
I'm about to say, it could be Bruce Hulk. That'd be interesting. Because they resolved that, whereas like, he's still going to be Bruce, I guess, as Hulk. Which is really funny.
I have a way they could have brought in the character. I'll bring it up later. But damn, what was I going to say? Oh fuck!
Was it about Black Widow or was it about Captain Marvel?
No. Oh,
the girl power thing?
No. Damn, I can't remember. I'll remember it later. Probably.
It's fine. But yeah, I mean, I wish she didn't die, but it gave her importance. Yeah. You know what I mean? It's like, I hate the thing that's like you gotta kill off a female character. You know what I mean?
Okay, I remember.
But it's like, it also brings her arc to an end the same way it did Cap and Iron Man. Because it was like, she found a family. You know what I mean? It's like, here's the thing. I hate, with a burning passion, the romance with Bruce and Ultron. It's what makes that movie an 8 for me instead of like a 9. Yep. I think it ruined her character for like a good summer.
A good summer.
Like right after like Winter Soldier like made her like the best character in the universe. You know what I mean?
Yep.
But like, they had that bit where she goes to Bruce, is like, I can't have a family.
I can't have a family.
Right.
But
Could have been such a better way of doing it. Such a bad way to do it, Joss. It was like, I can't have kids, I'm a monster. What kind of mess is there? Are people who actually can't do that. You know what I mean? I was very glad the Russo brothers were given the reins. I talked to you about that a lot. But it brings her, those three who are kind of the pillars, if you will. It brings them to an end. But go back to your point before I go back to my point.
Okay, so I didn't come up with this point. I think it was either Collider or Screen Junkies, one of the two media outlets,
right? Who
said this that they don't think that the Budapest ideal should be just the inside between Hawkeye and Widow.
Yeah,
that should be an inside. They should.
I could see that because it could run the risk of becoming the Kessel Run.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Where it's underwhelming.
Yes. Is it really? Is that? Yeah, I'll be interested to see what that movie is. But talking about upcoming movies, pitch me your new Avengers lineup. Because Thor is off with the Guardians now. So if we see him again, it'll be the Ass Guardians. The Guardians of Ass, as Jeff Goldblum would say. And then potentially Thor could be a player. Like Hemsworth wants to keep playing, it seems like, so they got no reason not to keep him around. But for now, I'm not gonna have him be. I don't think he'll be like the leader of the Avengers. You know what I mean?
Okay, so are we keeping 6 or are we? No, for the sake of time, we'll keep it at 6.
Pitch me the 6, because I don't think there's actually that much more heroes at this point.
Okay, so T'Challa coming back.
T'Challa.
They'll rope Captain Marvel back into it.
Yes, she might be like it looks like it'll be her or T'Challa. They'll be like the leaders. You know what I mean? Because those are the two. First off, there's the progressive aspect of it, and then those two are the two best-selling movies besides Iron Man and Cap.
Yep, and so I'm gonna take Bruce out. He'll be a liaison to it.
He'll be Jean in Justice League Unlimited.
Yeah,
that's how I usually write that character in my own personal fan, whatever.
Damn, who's left?
All right, those three. I'll help you out. We'll just do one together. So you got Black Panther. You got Cap Marvel. Cap, the only Cap now, I guess. Cap Marvel.
Scarlet Witch.
Here's the thing. This is what I bring up. I want to keep Scarlet Witch and Captain America in it, but they're both having shows now. I don't know if that, you know what I mean? Like I don't know if being in a show disqualifies you from being in the mainline Avengers. So I guess for that aspect, I'm keeping both of those out for now because I know Scarlet Witch is going to have an entire show dedicated to her, and potentially Vision.
Yeah.
And then Bucky and Sam are having their show, so I'm gonna keep those three out, I guess. So then I'll put in Doctor Strange, Spider-Man. So is that 5?
That's 5. So are you gonna bring in? Because I was thinking, either bring in. Okay, Paul Rudd might be too old for the role. Evangeline Lilly is like 30 something. She can always come back. And there's usually a second woman to it.
Yes. So I mean, I would if you had to pick between the two, I'd do Lily, but I would cheat and just have both of them, Ant-Man and Wasp. But I think you can get Paul Rudd to be in an Avengers movie for a while. Maybe another Ant-Man movie might be a lot to ask, maybe, but I think you can have him. I mean, the man doesn't age that much to begin with, so I think you can rope him in to being in it, and then having his buddies be in the side, and that way you can have like a mini Ant-Man movie, when you want, and have those guys in it, and have Evangeline maybe take more of a front seat, or Hope Van Dyne take more of a front seat to be maybe like one of the people in charge with Captain Marvel. And here's the question: do you keep Rhodey? War Machine.
Keep Rhodey. I mean, it's not. He lives up to the role.
That's really what it's about, right? Because they kind of hinted at him and Cap Marvel maybe having a little thing,
I mean, Bree's really been pitching her and Valkyrie.
I'd be there for that. But he gave it a little wink nod, and in the comics they were a thing, and he got killed by Thanos, and the jump started Civil War 2. So yeah, maybe keep him around. And then when you have Black Panther, you can have Okoye and M'Baku. I hope they don't make M'Baku the villain.
Yeah, I like the way that they play that he's just the contender for the.
Because then it's like black people want to keep black people down. You know what I mean? That's what you're going into. But at the same time, I don't know what other roads he has. You know what I mean? That's the thing. Because Claw's gone. Killmonger's gone. Man-Ape is kind of the next big one. I don't know. Unless you just keep it straight up, just have him be in the Avengers and have him just fight whatever global conflict you need. And then, because we still got to integrate X-Men and Deadpool and Fantastic Four into this. So and then we have Shang-Chi.
Yep.
We have the Eternals. So there is actually, the MCU's never been busier. When you're being legit about it, because it's like there's gonna be a little bit of a lull from now to Far From Home, you know what I mean? But after that, they're right back into it. Boom, boom, boom. Like Doctor Strange still needs a sequel. Black Panther still needs a sequel. Captain Marvel still needs a sequel.
Yep.
But they can't do a Hulk movie because of the rights.
Yep.
I don't think they can do Namor still. They've been trying to get. They're trying to get him right, but that's
Universal still has that one. Right?
Yes.
But I think since Aquaman blew up so big, they'll be able to convince Universal that this is a worthy contender to compete.
And they to do like a joint dip like they did with Sony.
But they just have to. First of all, that's an uphill battle. You have to find someone as charismatic as Jason.
That's the thing. You have to find the right guy to play Namor because the character doesn't actually give you a lot.
Yeah.
Like he's an ass and he's funny in that aspect. Then you have to worry about his design. Because
do you keep the spandex or do you give him full spandex?
Here's the thing. Like Namor is a weird character, but like my dad knows who Namor is. Yeah. The Submariner. He's actually very well known amongst our parents' generation. Yep. You know what I mean? Like more than you think he would be. So there's a market for the Submariner. I mean, now since they have the rights, backdoor through Fantastic Four. You know what I mean? Do it that way. But is there?
Or would he be a villain for? Because I've been seeing this a lot online. Black Panther do.
Oh, if they can swing it that way, do that. You know what I mean?
Atlanteans versus the Wakandans.
They did that a little bit in the recent comics, right? With like after the Illuminati thing, right?
Yeah,
they had beef. Yeah, do that. Now, who do you get to play Namor? Do you get someone like John Hamm?
That's his name. Because do you keep Namor the Submariner white, or do you go and cast
like Asian?
That's what I was thinking.
Because I didn't want to say it, but he had them swingy eyes in the comics.
Yep. He has that Asiatic look to him.
He's got that widow's peak. I don't. There's not like that immediate guy that's like. It's not like Norman Reedus for Johnny Blaze. You know what I mean? Or like Jake Gyllenhaal for Moon Knight. You know what I mean? There's not that really easy like.
Yeah, you can't pinpoint. You can't take a dart and just throw it, because there's two problems with this. You still need to convince Universal.
Yes.
That you have a big enough act.
So you can't. You can't do the Marvel thing to just get.
You can't,
somebody you trust.
Right. You can't get some unknown dude.
You can't do a Downey.
Yeah.
You can't do a Robert Downey Jr. Because they did not want Marvel to do that.
No.
They were like, yo, we do not want to show this motherfucker. Find somebody, get me Tom Cruise. That's what they were saying. But Feige and Favreau were like, just let us try with this dude. We've read the comic. We know what we're doing. But yeah, it'll be interesting. Like, every time I think they can't do a movie for this character, they do it. You know what I mean? To varying degrees, of course. But we're going to have a Submariner movie at some point.
Yeah. Now it's just convincing.
It's just a hard sell in Universal. That's what it is.
First of all, I just remembered it. Universal. Are you not? No, not Paramount. Never mind.
Paramount was who used to own Marvel, the movies.
Yeah, no, I was thinking about Paramount because the Sonic movie, but I would have had a great point then, but now it's
out the window.
Never mind.
So you guys didn't hear that. We actually haven't talked about Endgame as much. We talked about it, but I actually really like it. I think it's a ballsy ass movie. I never know how to rank it because I have yet like Winter Soldier and Civil War were really the only two movies that like I saw them and I was like, this is top. Like I immediately put it at top. Like those are my top two. I flip flop on those two, and like maybe Guardians. Top three.
The first one?
Yeah, the first one. I really like the second one, but the first one too. Like, but every other movie after that, I'm like, I like it, but I need to figure out where I put it. You know what I mean?
I can't lie. Winter Soldier was the that's the pinnacle of mine.
That was the game changer moment for me.
That's my number one, and that's like it's weird. You can't set number one as the bar,
right? But it's like
it's the bar.
But I agree with you because it's like before that, I was convinced that they're going to do an Avengers movie and then they're going to do like a second Avengers movie and then we're all going to do all their lives. Like, I was like, they did Iron Man. Like, wow, cool, Iron Man. I just started watching their cartoon or something when I was a kid. So I was like, cool. It's like, wow, they're doing a Thor. They did another Iron Man movie. They're doing a Thor movie? Wow. Captain America. I was a kid. I was like, oh, Owen Wilson should be Captain America when I was a kid. Imagine that. I was like, what? They got Johnny Storm to play Captain America? They can't do that. And then it was like, they did the first Avengers movie. I was like, wow, this is really good. Man, I'm going to be sad after they do the second movie and it's done. And then they did Winter Soldier. I was like, oh, this shit isn't stopping, is it? Like, I didn't realize how much potential they had to be more than movies. You know what I mean? Until I saw Winter Soldier. Because then I was like, wow, this is different. Yeah. And a lot of that was on the Russo brothers. And the fact that right after that was when Feige slowly started wrestling control away from the committee. You know what I mean? And Eider. Like,
there's only 2 people in Hollywood I trust right now with filming the cinematic universe. It's Kevin Feige, James Wan.
Yeah. Like, you and I had our issues with Aquaman, but I would really put James Wan in charge of shit. Like, he's proven it with The Conjuring. Like, even though a lot of those movies don't get good reception, they made money. Yeah. You know what I mean? And I'm really surprised that Jeff Johns didn't get more done in charge of DC.
I think he juggled too much. He
didn't want to give up being a writer. Yeah, I think that's what it boiled down to.
He was a writer. He was a producer. He was writing the comics.
He was still in charge of the comics too.
Yeah, he was still CEO of the comics while he was doing that.
And doesn't Jim Lee have a position of power too?
Yeah, Jim Lee. No, or is Jim Lee the COO?
He's up there with the comics
because it's Jim Lee.
Jim Lee.
The big 3
is Jim Lee,
Dan DiDio, and Jeff Johns. Yes.
And then Jeff tried to do both. You know, Feige had the thing where it was like, he doesn't have to worry about anything but this stuff. Yeah. He's not in charge of the TV. Although he's going to be now. Yeah. Even though
Jeff Loeb is
going to be in charge of the Hulu stuff now. Because I think after...
I mean, they were casting a lot of his shows.
After Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., they're done with ABC. Even though they're all owned by Disney. They're like, they're not doing any more ABC shows.
And the budget's too low.
Yeah. Like, I think it's telling that it's like... I mean, I'll be interested to see if they do more Freeform. Was Squirrel Girl and her crew, were they supposed to be on Freeform? Or were they supposed to be on Hulu?
They were supposed to be on Freeform, right? No, I think they were supposed to
remember. It's been a couple of years since that was announced, bro, and I haven't heard anything about it. It's been a minute.
They might stay on. They might.
I know they got AT&T Girl to play Squirrel Girl, and I thought that was dude.
They might pull. I think they do an NBC. No, or the CBS. You remember how Supergirl started off?
I was like, don't say NBC, don't say Constantine. Yeah. People are still swarming over that.
He went to Legends, which he's doing really great in.
Yeah, it's like his show basically now. Like, he's kind of the lead now, more or less, right? A little bit.
He plays second fiddle to Sarah Lance, but
Sarah, good for her.
But he gets enough. He gets enough done. But
he gets enough where it's like kind of enough of a for And Arrow's ending too. Yeah. So, but Jeff Johns went back to being a writer, which is what he wanted to be.
Yeah. I mean, he's still working on.
He's still there. He's still in the office.
He's doing the Shazam run.
Yes.
He's supposed to.
Shazam took a lot from his run for the movie, from what I've heard.
And so, he's
still need to see it.
He's also still executive producing for the shows and some of the movies.
But everyone was like, "Oh, they finally found their Feige," because it was supposed to be Snyder.
I think
didn't work out. Put too much on him, didn't work out. Like, I kind of knew once that his script with Affleck fell through for Batman, I was like, I knew it was done. Because how can
great ass script?
Yeah, I don't know why Affleck lost faith in him. Maybe he just had too much going on in his personal stuff, and then the reaction to BVS and Justice League. Yeah. But like, he said he couldn't find the right script for it. But from what I've seen from that script, it looked like the script we wanted. It was, and you heard that thing where they were gonna go to Batman Beyond and everything, and they were gonna cast Terry.
I guess it was too much on Ben's plate because
he was going through a divorce. He was going through rehab. Live by Night didn't do too well. He didn't have a good year. Well, he was trying to juggle that, and then Jeff had his stuff going on. But that's what shocked me. You know what I mean?
I mean, the Green Lantern movie's still supposed to happen by 2020.
I don't have anything against Goyer. I just don't get why he's the guy in charge of that.
I mean, Jeff writing it though.
I thought it was both of them.
I mean,
or is Goyer directing it? He does do good, but it's like with specific tones.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And that's not the tone.
I mean, his blade work was good, besides the third movie, which I don't care for.
He did do that, didn't he?
The first two are... We talk about the first two. I don't remember him getting the trilogy.
Yeah. Wow, that's how far back he goes.
But yeah, I mean, if we talk about the DC slate, it's weird because they have Ezra Miller, Grant Morrison are supposed to be working on the
I saw that he was taking over for the script.
James Gunn doing Suicide Squad.
Yes, and they just got Dave the Smolshin from
Man-Man. Polka Dot Man.
That's who he's playing?
Yeah.
Wow.
So you know he's getting killed off early.
Yeah.
I don't see that character.
He's Slipknot.
Mm-hmm. You were very mad at that casting.
Yeah, because I was like, they did the Native American brother come out here, be on set, and they just hate him.
You know, I thought they were going to do with that role, I thought they were going to adapt it from the comics, and he loses his arm, and then, like, he would die on the mission, not just...
Basically do a Diablos. They didn't even give brother an intro video. That's what disrespected me. But we're going way off topic here. Endgame. We like it. That ending scene alone is everything I wanted. Like, I was worried that they were gonna come back at the end after the fight, be like, "Yay, we're all bad." But then when I heard him go on your left, I was like, "Oh!" And then you see everyone pop up, and it's like Lord of the Rings level shit. I was like, "Oh my god!" Like, because I didn't know what they were gonna do for that final fight. Because I was like, "What can they do?" And I was like, "Oh shit, just have an army." And I was like, "Who makes up the army though? Just a bunch of the sorcerers." There we go. And Howard the Duck apparently.
I can't lie that the first 2 hours dragged to me because but they were setting up so much.
It dragged, but it didn't bother me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It wasn't like, ugh. Like here's the thing. Like, Batman vs. Superman kind of crushed my soul a little bit on the second watch. Once I knew what they were setting up and I rewatched it, didn't like it. Because I actually really liked it the first time I watched it.
I still like it. It still holds up. I like the Ultimate Edition better because it's much more of what Zach wanted.
Yes. It didn't fit everything, but it was more what he wanted.
Yeah. The theatrical version was, and like funny thing is, we saw that me, Chris, Dante, and Mike saw that movie. Them three were like rows behind me, and I was up in like the middle. And so like I didn't see their perspective of it. I only had mine to go off. But that was a long movie. I don't know. I think. Yeah. I got to the age where if it's a long movie, I'm like, it's dragging, ain't it?
I was like, oh no.
It's gonna be one of them moments.
It was like Aquaman for us.
It's a good movie. But
it is a good movie. It's just the trailer's better. I hate to say it, the trailer's better.
The burp took me out.
Yeah.
If you haven't seen it, there's a burp scene.
It's been out since December. It's fine.
They're in the desert. They fall through a sinkhole and there's a burp. I don't know why there's a burp. I didn't know sinkholes could make burp sound, but they do. But yeah, Endgame. It's the Endgame.
I don't know where I ranked it. I mean, it's. I liked Infinity War because I need to watch them back to back. Because I like Infinity War because it wasn't really trying to be a movie. You know what I mean? It was like an event. Like, this is shit happening. This one was very much a movie. You know what I mean? And I like it. I like the time travel thing about it. But I didn't think they were going to reshoot everything they reshot.
Yeah.
Like, they reshot a lot. Like, you could tell it was a reshoot, not just, like, recycled footage. You know what I mean? Like, they got Chris Pratt back in to do his dance again. You know what I mean? Just get smacked the fuck out by War Machine.
There was like, I mean, you really don't have to watch much of the first 21 movies.
If anything, you should watch the first Avengers, Civil War, and then like Infinity War. Those are like the three like essential.
Right.
Like you don't need to know characters to really get into it. You know what I mean? Like, it would help if you watched everyone because there's like they said they call back to the first Captain America, the first second Thor, blah blah blah. But they do recap it for you a little bit.
There was so much going. Like, this movie could have ultimately been like, it had so much baggage. It could have been a terrible movie, but they set it up. They did it right, and they capitalized on it to make it the great movie that it is. This is a movie that will go down in history as one of the greatest comic book movies.
Oh, no doubt about it. Like, it's like, it's there, dude. You know what I mean? Like, it's gonna be remembered. Like, it's what people thought Watchmen was gonna be. You You know what I mean? It's a bitter. You know what I mean? Like, because Watchmen is probably the most important comic of all time. You look at it that way. This might be one of the most important comic movies of all time. Especially in, it's like, oh, fatigued. You know what I mean? Like, Spielberg's like, keep waiting for this Netflix to die. You know what I mean? And he's just sitting there. He's just sitting there like, huh? Ready Player No. How about that? But it's a success, dude. I mean, here's the thing: these movies are predisposed to make money, but all it takes is one not being good for them to stop making money.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But I always bring up this. This is my favorite thing to bring up when I thought about like the closest thing I did to being like a market expert. You look at the first Spider-Man movie. Like I'm talking about Tobey Maguire, Sam Raimi. First one made all kinds of money.
Yeah.
Was okay. Spider-Man 2 comes out, makes less money than the first one.
But
an amazing movie that people regard as one of the best of all time.
Yep.
Spider-Man 3 comes out. Makes the most money out of all three based on what Spider-Man 2 did. Worst movie of the three.
Yep.
And then because of that, Amazing Spider-Man doesn't do as well. Even though it comes out how many years later? Like 5 years later? Was that?
What,
No.
2012?
3 years later.
No, 2007.
It was like 2011, 2012, because I think 2 came out in like 2014. It came out like the same time as like Winter Soldier.
Yeah.
So, you know, you can talk about how these things, they do have a machine behind them, but it only takes one to screw up what comes up next.
Yeah.
So, you gotta give Marvel credit for keep putting out the good stuff.
Yep. I mean, it's like, basically, if you're not already an established franchise, like, and this is coming from a 2018, 2019 perspective,
yes,
you're not going to really do well at the box office.
No, now with Netflix and everything going on, you know, everyone's still trying to be Marvel.
Yeah. Even after DC batted and got $1 billion from Aquaman, the Shazam movie, which is arguably better from my
and a lot of other people's opinions. Just as a movie,
it's arguably better. Only at like $300 million.
That's all it's at.
And it's the lowest selling DC movie.
Oof.
To arguably be the best one out of the DC.
I was kind of hoping that would be like an Iron Man moment for him.
Yeah, no.
I mean, it's still possible.
I mean, maybe with the second movie.
Yeah, I mean, it made its budget. It made more than its budget, I'm guessing.
I mean,
it didn't look like a movie that was made with a lot of money.
Yeah, it's $90 million.
Oh, it's fine.
Yeah,
we're doing a sequel.
Also, because you know, Zachary Levi's not a big box office guy. He's not a box office draw.
I mean, it could be after this, but like his best roles are like Chuck and
Tangled.
Yeah, I was gonna say. So it's like he doesn't have that visibility, and also like I love Mark Strong as a villain, but he's also not like a big draw. So it's like your best bet is just cancel Black Adam and just have it be Shazam 2, bro.
Like, I mean, they're still making that movie.
I'm surprised.
That movie. I mean, Dwayne was working on this movie. He was the executive producer of Shazam.
He was.
And so
good. They
even had, it's like, I don't want to spoil it because you haven't seen
it.
I
haven't seen it. But they had a moment.
They have a moment.
Okay. There's that movie was announced how long ago, bro? That was announced. Was that announced
2014? Right now.
Wow. 5 years. Haven't even 5 years.
I mean, he's been busy.
He has been busy. But it's like, is the script ready? Is the director ready? Like, is everything else ready and just waiting for Dwayne? Like, is that what it is? Because if that's the case, then if that's the case, then I'm not worried about it. You know what I mean?
They're supposed to be filming next year, starting next year. March.
So now that they've got like Jumanji and like Fast and Furious off his back,
that they can film it. Wow. I mean, yeah, he's been in a movie.
Well, yeah, he's been in like a movie every 4 months. So I'm there for that. But yeah, I mean, yeah, like Shazam, you kind of need him to be there to have Shazam do the
that also will break whatever Shazam ends at. That Black Adam movie gonna make twice that.
Yes.
On The Rock alone.
And then combine the two, and then you got what you need to move forward. You might have to maybe turn Black Adam into a regular anti-hero if you want to, like, box office wise keep this shit going. Yeah. Just because then you can have him and Moa share scenes and stuff like that, and be like.
What they're gonna have to do, since The Rock,
especially since Cavill and Affleck are out, and they're not too keen on really rebooting Superman. It sounds like.
Yeah, they don't want. I think what they're going to do. They're going to eventually cave to Cavill's demand.
Oh, you think they're gonna bring him back?
Yeah, they're going to have because if you recast Superman, start another movie, even if you take what Snyder put in and you continue from that, no one's going to want to see that.
It doesn't have, because Batman, they're going back to the drawing board, and you've rebooted Batman before. You're okay with that. There's only been 3 Supermans.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Chris Reeves.
Well, you forget
Brandon Routh, and Cavill. 3.
Yeah.
Unless you want to count Dean Cain, then you got 4 live action. And then Tom Welling, you know what I mean? But if you're talking about film, there's only been 3 as opposed to like 8 Batmans.
Yep. And,
going on 9.
And that's where they kind of get a leeway with the Batman because it's a prequel.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, they still can bring Cavill back if they want to do Justice League. They're not. But they can.
Yeah. They're just making movies at this point and seeing what sticks at this point. I mean, that's all they can do.
The only way I see if they bring they bring Affleck back is for Justice League is they'd have to the other actors like Gal Gadot, Ezra
Miller, Ray Fisher.
They'd have to back for him to come back.
Doesn't sound like it's happening.
And he wouldn't come back.
Yeah, it sounds like it was as much his choice as their choice. Mm-hmm. It didn't sound like Matt Reeves. I don't want this guy. It sounded more like Affleck was like, I'm done playing this character. I'm like almost 50 years old.
Yeah.
I mean, you could always do the old man. You could always do old man Bruce if you want. Mm-hmm. Even though you can also do Keaton and George Clooney if you really want to do that.
Yeah.
But imagine Batman Beyond was one of those two as old Bruce. Or even like a legit Dark Knight Returns. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? With those two.
It would be it's
like Clooney deserves to do a Batman role. Like Nick Cage's got to voice Superman.
Yep.
You know what I mean? That was Chromatic Justice. Mm-hmm. Like he deserves that turn too, whether it's like a voice role or whatever. But he deserves to play Batman one more time.
Right. George Clooney wasn't even bad.
He wasn't the worst part. He was not bad in that movie. Like, plus, it was ER George Clooney. That's not George Clooney we got now.
Like we blame so many other actors, but we never take how the director goes.
Shoemaker, yeah, Schumacher. And then Arnold lets him like chill out.
There's so much going in that damn movie.
It's if we ever do a Patreon, we need to do like a DVD commentary for that because like Kevin Smith did one years ago, and it's one of my favorite podcasts ever. So we'll do the CH3 presents to you the classic Batman. I think that's all we got, right? We ended up not talking about Endgame as much as I thought we were going to talk about it, but
we went off into
a tangent, but that's fine. That's what CH3 is known for.
Oh wait, no, before we go.
Yes.
How do you think Wonder Woman 2 will fare?
Critically, financially, creatively? What do you...
Both. I mean, creatively, they changed the writer. It's no longer Alan Heinberg from the first movie.
Really? Who's writing now? Is Patty doing...
It's Patty, and I think it's also Jeff who has a part in it.
Oh, well, shit. I'm there for any Jeff Johns written thing.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like he's definitely my favorite DC writer. Mm-hmm. But I love the Rebirth stuff. Mm-hmm. And even before that, all the stuff he's done. Financially, when's it coming out?
Next, I think June 26th, next year. Or is it this year? No, it's next year because
well, okay, so it shouldn't have like a big Star Wars or an Avengers thing to deal with.
Mm-hmm.
That'll help it. I actually think calling it Wonder Woman 1984 might hurt it a little bit as opposed to calling it Wonder Woman 2.
I mean, but
that's nitpicky.
But that's the search because if you search it up,
that's nitpicky as fuck on my part, But there's no reason for it not to do really well. Mm-hmm. I think it'll do really good. I think it has a good time going for it. If it's going to be June, like you said, or July, it might be July. It feels like July. That's a great time for it. It's going to be during a little lull. It shouldn't have too much competition. Mm-hmm. And the first Wonder Woman made a lot of bank.
Yep, 800 million something.
And it'll only be what? 3 years after the first one? By the time it comes out? It'll be 2020? It was 2017 is when it came out. So it'll be 2020? Yeah. Here's the thing. Will it break records? I don't know. Mm-hmm. It can at least have Marvel numbers. Mm-hmm. If not better. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Critically, I think yes. It has a lot of weird moving parts that could hold it down. By the fact that they're having Chris Pines back, and apparently he's not a flashback. Apparently he's going to be like alive, right? Mm-hmm. Kind of, but like not. It'll be the last time he's not going to be back after this. So there's weird. Kristen Wiig as Cheetah is a good casting role. But depending on how they handle that character, it could be weird.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it might not do as well. Here's the thing. It'll either be... It's not going to be the same level as Wonder Woman. It'll either be 10 times better or a little worse.
Mm.
You know what I mean? And even in the first Wonder Woman movie, it's really just Captain America, the first Avenger. You know what I mean? I hate to say it. It takes a lot of beats. It's one of my favorite DC movies. Don't get me wrong. I really like it. I don't think it'll be like an Into the Spider-Verse level of like, this is amazing. This is a hallmark.
Mm.
You know what I mean? But I think it'll make more money, and I think it'll be another step in the right direction for them. And I think we'll definitely do the third one after that.
Mm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I think it will be a success. I don't think they have to worry about that. I think Patty has a very proven track record, even with the I Am the Night series she has going on. I think that's been doing well, right? On TNT, that's kind of good.
I haven't watched.
I think it's done by now. I haven't watched it, but it looked like it got a lot of buzz.
Mm.
I know that much. So I think it's got everything going for it. Other than that, DC, I have no freaking idea.
Yeah, they have they have a whole lot of movies.
We don't even have a Nightwing casted yet.
Yeah, no. Maybe Comic-Con.
And then Batgirl's back to the drawing board.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Batgirl being done by the woman who made Christina Hodges.
Yes.
Yeah, who did Bumblebee and
Which I am so. Oh, they got her.
Yeah, Bumblebee Birds of Prey.
Oh, I love the script. She's doing Birds of. Oh, I am excited for both of the movies now because I actually really like the script for Bumblebee.
Mm-hmm.
I actually really done it. So I'm there for that. But I'm really. And she wrote that movie by herself, bro. Yeah. That's what impresses me. That it was like, yo, you did this on your own. Because Guardians of the Galaxy had like 8 people. Not 8, it had like 3 people writing it. It was James Gunn and the other girl. So it had like 2 people writing it. Mm-hmm. But it's like it takes a lot to write a movie.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, look at Marcus and McFeely. You know, it's like it took those two to do the 4 best Marvel movies we got.
I can imagine that. Writing scripts for a small skit
that we do. That are like 2 minutes long. Takes everything we got. You and I need to work on something creative again. We haven't done it in a couple of years.
Yeah, no.
But anyway, I think that's all we got. This has been Mama's Couch, as always, our podcast. I don't know if I said it at the top, but we went away a little bit from video games. We talked about video games for like 20 minutes, and then we spent like 50 talking about comic books. But hey, comic book starts with a C, and we're CS3, so you know it's in our wheelhouse. Yeah. That's what it should be. Consoles, co-op, comics. That's what CS3 stands for. There we go. Anyway, I have been Ben.
I've been Taylor, and I love you 3,000.
You're gonna make me cry. I'm gonna say that's gonna be my wedding vows. Just you wait.